So welcome to Frame of Reference, the show where we are going to feature music videos and bring in the bands and the directors and talk about pretty much everything about it and just let them get their stories out, how the video came to be, a little bit about the song and about themselves. Today we have Lip Candy, and we are featuring the Str8jckt video that they did with Orion Yorke. So Lip Candy, why don't you guys go ahead and start talking like a little about yourself? How'd you guys get started? Who are your influences, things like that?
Totally. Well, first of all, my name is Thomas. I sing and play guitar in Lip Candy.
I'm Philip. I play bass in Lip Candy. I'm Alex. I'm the drummer.
And yeah, so Str8jckt was, it was a song out of a batch of 5 songs that we wrote a couple summers ago, actually. And it ended up being all of our favorite. We moved here not too long ago, and we went to Orion with it, and he liked the song, and Orion and Lip Candy have been friends for a while, so he recently has been trying to get into music videos. He does, like, he's just a monster behind the camera, so he's like, dude, I think I can do something really cool with this. So we took it to him, we brainstormed some ideas, and we ran with it, and I think it's our favorite video that we've done so far. So but that's no surprise. That's really no surprise working with this guy. So
cool. Yeah, it came out fantastic. From seeing the teasers to seeing how it actually came out was very, very cool. So Orion, I guess we'll go to you then. How long have you been making videos, and like what else have you worked on besides this?
Yeah, I've been doing videos since I was like 10, more of a profession since like 2017. So it's always been a passion of mine. And then, like Thomas said, I have kind of transitioned more to wanting to do music video stuff. I've been more like advertorial and just like boring stuff. But I really dig Lip Candy's sound. So like he said, like when I heard, I was like, we could definitely do something sick here. And these guys are super creative guys. So it's so easy just to like sit down and basically come up with a start to finish product in our heads. And we all were like on the same page about it. So it's so easy to transition to just like film it. And I think we knocked it out in like one day, 7 hours,
Yeah,
and
it was
like
quick.
done. And we were like geeking about the footage, and we both, like, me and the group, knew like we had something friggin' special here. So it was cool to, I'd say like this is my first music video that I've done where I've had like a feeling of this is a complete whole thing, rather than like previous music videos where it's just kind of like me with a camera and like some rapper and something like that. But this was like almost like a full-fledged production, but it was just like the 3 of us.
yeah.
And it looks like it was a team effort, which it was, but it looks like a little bit bigger than it was. So I was like super pleased how it came out in that sense.
That is amazing that like the first like full-fledged thing that you've done turned out this like amazing. Did you do all like the editing on it as well?
Yeah. So I handled editing. I had a colorist color it, but then like it was a lot of good feedback with the guys too, like editing. So I'd send them a cut and be like, what do you think about this? And I remember the night that we wrapped, we just went back to their place and like looked at all the footage because we were so stoked. And so that was a good idea. Or it gave me a good idea of like what they would want in the video. So then editing, I remember like, oh, they freaked out about this clip, so we'll put it in there. And again, like we were all very much on the same page with the vision of it. So it was almost like if I think it would look cool in the video, they would think it would look cool in the video. If they thought something else looked cool in the video, I was already on page with that and be like, boom, done, easy.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I guess let's start with Orion. Like, who are some of your biggest influences, like music video wise?
Music video wise, Cole Bennett definitely. I'd say like I'd like to try out something of his style. Like obviously with this Lip Candy video, that's not like a Cole Bennett style. But just the stuff that he does and how like fast and quick he turns out a video. Like he'll be shooting Kanye one day and then shooting like somebody else the next, and then have 2 music videos that week from the same day shoot. So I was like, that's crazy. So his work ethic is something that I look up to, I think, more than his style. Other than that, like I'm a huge Rory Kramer fan. He's like Justin Bieber's videographer, but he's like very raw with his style, and he's just like more tour recap videos. So it's not necessarily music video stuff, but those are probably like right now my 2 biggest influences.
Nice. I'll have to check those out. And then for Lip Candy, what influences do you pull from?
Man, in terms of sound, it's so much.
Pretty mixed bag.
Super mixed bag. Like I, grew up you know, my taste has always really been 90s and up, so like 90s, 2000s, 2010s rock. You know, a little bit of classic in there, a little bit of blues. But yeah, I've always predominantly been a 90s 2000s guy, and but I also love pop. You know, I'm a huge Justin Bieber fan. Like, you know, I like rap too. He's actually really gotten me into rap and hip hop and trap. That's his lane.
Forte.
So
yeah, I listen to it. It's funny because like all of us are so one with music really that it's like we don't even see it as like a genre. Like I could like so many songs that just sound so many different types of ways from each other, but it's just because I like the way that they're playing it. You know, I like the way that what they're talking about. I like how it's portrayed. You know, there's a lot to it. But in terms of like our own music making, like we do definitely take some modern influences, such as that pop side of, you know, more digital production, and then kind of take our own spin by bringing in that 90s 2000s that Thomas was talking about, you know, making that more raw as well.
Nice.
Yeah. Real quick, yeah, it's like we take the pop punk genre and then we just make it a little grittier with the 90s music. And then I don't know, I would say I was a huge Beatles fan growing up. So my two biggest bands growing up were like Beatles and My Chemical Romance. And so there's elements of like Beatles stuff that doesn't really come through in like production, but in terms of like melodic composition and that kind of almost like super catchy melody that you think you heard before, that sort of thing that we take into a harder instrumental track, like more grungy stuff.
That's a very nice mix of bands. So when did you guys meet and like start playing music?
We met a few years ago in college. We all met in New Orleans. Phil and I attended Loyola University, and Alex went to Tulane University, and those two colleges are literally right across the street from each other. So Phil and I actually met because we were in a class project together. So
fun story is that you know, ever since I was like 7 or 8, I've been playing guitar, like electric guitar, so on and so forth. I majored in guitar at school. You know, it's the end of the semester, and Thomas is kind of like, yeah, man, keep in mind, you know, I went to a show before, and he was like, yeah, man, like, a bass guy just kind of isn't cutting it right now. And I was like, let's go right now. And I sold my guitar, went to bass, you know, changed my profession in school, made sure it all worked. So I was at least learning something too while I was at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean.
And he is a badass bass player. And I think I don't know, it suits him. Obviously, like you can shred the electric guitar, but I feel like bass suits you.
It's definitely, I've had a reawakening like through bass that has just been really dope. My personality.
And we kept running into this guy at shows around you know, New Orleans didn't have a giant rock scene, but it had a scene, and especially in the college area. And we kept running into him, and
we finally decided to play our first show together.
Yeah.
Drunk outside of a bar. They bumped into me finally, and they convinced me, hey, we really need a drummer for this one show. I was like, okay, I'll do it. And I mean, yeah, it's cliche, but the rest is history. Yeah, no, we kept playing shows, and then
and now we live together in LA.
Yeah, and then we moved across the country together.
How weird is that? It's crazy.
Did you guys move out there right after college?
Immediately, like literally about 2 weeks. Nice. I went home for 2 weeks, said, hey mom, hey dad, let's hang out for a week or two, have some drinks, and then I'm gone. But I still call them of course.
Big loves to my mom and dad.
Yeah.
You already know.
Nice. And so how did you guys meet Orion?
We met Orion through some people that we used to work with. We were actually in LA. This was before we had moved here, but our previous management, they had flew us out here, and he was filming some photo shoots, like just some behind the scenes photo shoots that we were doing. And we totally just like hit it off and became friends, and then just kept in touch. And then obviously, like right when we moved here permanently, you know, like we're just we're homies. Like we'll probably see him tomorrow. Like he'll probably come hang and watch a movie or something. You know what I'm saying? Like we're just we're boys. So yeah.
It was Orion. I want to say definitely helped inspire us to make the jump out of here, whether he knows it or not. Because when we first met him and he was doing that, freelance work, whatever he was doing then, he was in the same exact boat as we are right now. He like moved across country from North Carolina, right? And it was just kind of like, whoa.
We looked up.
He was our age. He was like, he did it. Let's do it too. So here we are.
So now we all doing it, boys.
Yes, sir.
So Ryan, you're from North Carolina then?
Yeah, South Carolina.
Oh, nice.
Thank you. You're not invited to the movie sesh tomorrow?
All right.
Yeah, no, they're the same thing. South Carolina, North Carolina.
Yes. That's funny.
For the band, why don't you guys talk about just a little bit about the song, like what you wrote it about?
Yeah, so this one was just about like, we all have had relationships in the past couple of years where we felt like we were being held back by it. And, a big part of our, growing up recently has been knowing when to cut things off, even though you might not want to, but because when you step back and you look at everything you're going through in a certain relationship, you realize that it's not healthy for either of you. And, just like how a straitjacket holds you back, like, so is the relationship that you're in. And so that's what we wrote that about. And, we're young, we're in our early 20s and we're, falling in and out of love. And, so that was just something that we all have been going through recently. And so, yeah, Str8jckt is a product of that for sure.
Very cool. I definitely feel that. Did any of the ideas for shooting the video like come about from that, or you just wanted to create something like really cool?
Yes, I would say both. Like we definitely a lot of the scenes that we shoot in this video are in confined spaces. Like there's a bunch of shots where we're in a small shipping container, and there's a lot of shots where we're in a small motel room, and it's like giving off the vibe that we're trapped in a room, kind of like how you would be trapped in, a relationship or a straitjacket or something like that. So that is definitely kind of like the metaphorical like meaning behind those shots. But at the same time, we also kind of just picked them because they looked sick. So that was also part of it. But so yeah, the visuals were on par, and it also kind of like coincidentally held up with the meaning of being in a confined space. So yeah.
Nice. I like that. Cool. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the video.
Where'd you go when there's nowhere to be? Tell me, girl, did you think I could read your mind? All the thoughts in your head as you lay away. Oh yeah. You said it, you got away. Oh God, you're holding me back. No God, could ever do that. And I don't want your love no more. It's holding me back, holding me back. I'm getting good at the games that you play. Like when you said you would turn him away, but then he walks through the door and you just can't wait. Oh yeah. You said it, you got it. You won't get anything tonight. I feel it, I taste it. You got away. Oh God, you're holding me back. No God, could ever do that.
That was very cool video. Looked amazing. So what were, I guess, some of your favorite shots to get? And like, where did you shoot it? Also, is this out in LA?
Yeah, it was at this place called the Barracks in the warehouse district-y area. This giant warehouse. The only way to get into it is like this giant gate that this guy had to like lift up for us. And then you walk in, it's this huge room, and to your left there's the small motel room, and then to your right you have all the shipping containers, and then there's the main like warehouse area where we did all the band shots. So yeah, what would you say your favorite part would be?
Definitely the cube.
The cube, yeah.
The strobe cube thing, that was just really cool. That made for a lot of sick shots. Both like of you doing your guitar solo, the drone shots, Phil just looking hot.
Yeah, that transition, there's a transition that Orion was able to do where I hit this one, it's the last note of the guitar solo, and it's this like really high note that I just bend, and the second I hit it, it cuts to like a completely different colored themed. I'm wearing a completely different outfit, but it looks like I didn't move at all.
It's like the perfect match shot.
Yeah, it's this crazy transition. That would probably be my favorite part, along with your drumming in the. There's a shot where he's drumming and it literally looks like lightning is coming out of his drumstick. Like,
that was amazing. That was a really cool shot.
What about you?
Mine's more like for BTS when we had the like towards the later scenes when we all had like the band shots and so on, less so for the solo shots. We before we went to Walgreens and we got a bottle of glycerin, and we put that on ourselves and each other. We had to help each other out. You know, there's some spots that we couldn't reach, and that was the best part. And we were just like drenched, just glistening, and it was a mess.
Because we wanted to look like we were sweating, but like just like how we always do with everything else, we went a little bit overboard with it.
Yep.
So we were just like lubing each other up.
Yeah, literally.
It was like dark in the warehouse too. It's like if anybody walked in that moment, they'd be like, "What the heck?"
A lot of questions.
What are Silly Boys doing?
Literally.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Orion, what was your like favorite bit to do?
I think definitely the cube, and we wet down the floor too, so it gave like such a cinematic look to it. And that was like a look I've been going for a while. It's like just wet floor, a lot of intense lights. But I also really love the motel scenes too. I think it has some like just something about it seems so filmic to me and like nostalgic in a way. And I was like so stoked that I captured that image. And then like the guys were acting so well, like touching back on like the confined spaces, it did coincidentally work out because we were going for like super cool imagery up front, but also keeping in mind like, okay, yeah, shipping container would be cool to show that confinement, but every space in there was really small, and having them go like super aggravated acting and like they're flailing around, they're upset, like to even push that further, the way that they embodied like an upset, it almost looks like you're watching like a preteen go crazy that their mom said like you can't date this girl. Like that's the energy they brought, and it was insane because I feel like that with the set works so well for the image. So definitely the cube and the wet floor scenes, but that motel will always have a special place in my heart for sure.
Nice. Was there any shot that was like really difficult to get that you were having issues with?
I don't think so, not really. We had like all the gear that we needed, so the only thing I was concerned about was like lighting, but that was covered so easily. We did have trouble with the cube or the lights.
There was a second where we like our really only obstacle that day was trying to figure out. Well, we had to zip tie these like long stick LED lights to this cube. So we did that, and then we couldn't figure out how because they operated through Bluetooth, and so we couldn't figure out how to sync them all up together. And then finally, there was a guy who kind of runs the place who was around, and we asked him, and he helped us. But yeah, for like a good 20-30 minutes, we were like trying to figure out how to like get them all to do the same thing. And once they did, it looked nuts.
It was so funny though, because I felt like all of us were low-key kind of like scared to ask the guy, because we'd asked him like twice before, and he tried to come over and help, and like I don't know what was wrong, he would come over and be like, here's what you do, and be like, oh yeah, I for sure got it, like totally understand. And I'd go and be like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing right now.
He would leave.
And then I couldn't
He was on
figure
the
it out
phone,
like
too.
twice. So I finally told the guy, I was like, bro, look, can you just come do it for me, please? Like, we need to get out of here.
Thank God we got it though.
Yeah, that was money shots.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Any other like fun behind the scenes stuff?
I think it was funny that we because Thomas and I drove together there, and we're freaking out because like, oh shoot, we need to get like water bottles, and we're like like water jugs to wet the floor. And we're like, how many jugs do you think we need? And I was like, we should go overboard, like let's get 8 or 6 or something like that. Because you're like, oh, we'll need 2. I was like, no, like let's get more. And I was like freaking out about it because like I think we need like 15, honestly. And then we get there and we're like putting all the water down. I think Philip or Alex is like, hey, there's a hose over here.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
There was a hose there the whole time.
And then we got
Hose
really
there the whole
thirsty.
time.
Yeah.
And we're like, we dumped all the water.
Right. And we got
Yeah,
thirsty.
but we already had dumped all the water over,
We
filling it up in the
water, and now
sink,
we have to
dude.
drink out of the hose.
Yeah.
That was funny.
I guess for like some of the music video stuff that you want to do, and possibly more of a question for Orion, would you ever want to like be on the road doing video stuff? Do you like having just like finding a studio or like a warehouse like you did for this one to do something in?
Yeah, I've done some music videos in the past, like we've done on the road, or like even incorporated, like I've toured with some people and incorporated like tour footage in it. But I think where I want to kind of go is like it was super inspiring to work with these guys and see how much we could do on such a shoestring budget and just being like super focusing on the vision. So I'd love to like have that same focus, but broaden the budget, like maybe not get a studio space, maybe use like locations that we can just sneak into, or like I'd like to be risky with stuff, like almost because it's like that punk rock and like that badassery. I'm not sure if I can say that, but like that kind of vibe. And I want to push that a little bit more with these guys and be like, let's sneak into a warehouse next time. Like, let's not rent it. Like, let's go do some dumb stuff and film it and like create something really special and raw from that. So I think that's where I want to take some of my video stuff personally.
Totally. We definitely we have had our conversations where we're maybe daydreaming a little bit about when we're on a tour bus and we're traveling the world, traveling the country, and we've talked about how like when we finally get there and we're not in our tiny pickup truck, how like Orion is gonna be our touring videographer. He's just gonna come to every show. We're just gonna rip gigs, and he's gonna get it all on camera, and he's just gonna be our dude. And he already is our dude. Once we're on the road, he's like, that's the homie. So we've definitely had like those daydream conversations about, like being on a jet and flying to Japan for a sold out arena show, and Orion's gonna be like with his camera while I'm holding champagne on the jet. You know what I'm saying?
So that's the next move. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the next step, obviously.
That's
That's
where
what
we're
the
going,
Come on,
next.
give us 2 months.
That is perfect. That sounds like a great daydream to have. Be able to look forward to that. Okay, well, do either of you have anything else that you'd like to talk about with this one?
Keep your ears open for that EP.
Yeah, yes, sir. And Orion Yorke is going to be the next Cole Bennett, if not bigger than Cole Bennett.
I'm dead.
It is, dude. It is. You are witnessing two, like, I don't know, just the way Lip Candy and Orion, just like our story is just hilarious. And like, we've been able to like make so much art, like, like he said earlier, we have a weird talent of just like being able to make stuff like not only on just like a small budget, but just like small time. Like, cause I just feel like the way we work together is just like, we have the same sense of humor. We have the same kind of vision in terms of like, even down to like the coloring and the transitions and the funny edits in between. Like for example, like last year he quickly edited in like maybe like an hour, like a Q&A video that we did. And like, we were still in New Orleans and we just literally shot a Q&A video on our phone, and we were just answering questions that our fans had. And we transferred him the footage and it was like, all right, chop this up, make it funny, make it whatever. And he like 30 minutes later was like, all right, here you go. And it was like hilarious. And like, you can go watch it on our YouTube channel. You'll just see like the type of stuff that he threw in there, and it just like worked. Like, So it's just, you know, I feel like we were meant together. So it's cool that people are starting to finally see, like our work is finally starting to get noticed somehow. So that's really awesome.
Yeah, that's very cool. I'm definitely getting, especially like how you guys started working together and kind of how you talked about it. And this may have been the mutual that is how we started following each other is water parks and working with John. I feel like you guys follow them, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
definitely kind of getting those vibes from it.
yeah,
So
like they're besties. Like they
Yeah.
are like that, you know.
yes, it is awesome.
So,
They're like always hanging out together. It's like that's
always.
what I would want eventually is somebody that I'm like best friends with, but get to work with too.
Totally. Yeah. Like Water Parks and John is what Lip Candy and Orion is starting to be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see for both of you, what do you have coming up? What's your next moves looking like?
So our next move is an EP that we are actually gonna finish up the recording process for this month. Our producer Blake, he is this is
the
our plan. This is our plan.
itinerary.
Nice.
So yeah, we go into the studio for the rest of this month, finish out all the tracks, and then our producer will do his magic and mix and master everything, and that will probably be coming out around maybe like May or June,
Mhm.
and it's just, you know, pushing those songs and playing as many shows as we can. So yeah, that's our next moves.
Heck yeah. I think on the top of my list is we're gonna be spitballing a new music video idea.
Yes, we
Keep
will.
your eyes out for that, and then just back on the grind. I have like a small production company with a business partner down in North Carolina that keeps me busy, so we get like some stuff through that, and just getting through and paying the rent and not living in boxes. So
Cool. Well, yeah, I'll definitely keep an eye out for that EP. That sounds like a lot of fun. This is going to be the first EP, right?
Yes, our
Debut.
debut, and it was just hard to believe because we've been a band for a minute, but we've just done singles so far. So this will be like our first body of work. So super excited, super excited. It's gonna be a statement on the music industry right now because it's in a really interesting spot, and we feel like rock has definitely made a comeback. You know, we all know it has, but we feel like it could be done by I don't know. There's just a lot of inauthenticity within the rock scene right now, and it's being done by a lot of solo artists, which isn't bad, but you know, like we feel like there's definitely room for a band in the market, you know, who plays their own instruments and doesn't just hire people to do everything. And
Because that's a bad reflection on what rock is in and of itself.
Yeah, it's
you
all
know?
just like
rock,
cult of personality,
rock
pop
is
star with
yeah,
guitar.
like they're doing the thing. They don't care. They're saying what they want to say. You know, it sounds good. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this.
thank
Thank
you
you for having
This
us.
is amazing.
Have a good
have
night,
a good
guys.
rest of your Friday.
Super great
Yeah.
to meet you.
There.
Bye, Orion. Love you, bub.
bye. See you in like 2 seconds.
Again, this is Frame of Reference. We will see you back next time.